Against All Odds, which is perfect because you guys need to get this worked out. So what I've done is I've made a four-way for the world title. You, and Jeff Hardy. Now, as far as tonight goes, hey, you two are going to want to hear this. As far as tonight goes, no 2-on-1s, no handicap matches. I want these two. Okay, no, I'll tell you what. I'm running the show around here. Cowboy has spoken, and he's going to get both of you tonight, starting with you and ending with you. Right here in this ring.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Ferran Derry.
Sit down, shut up, and listen up.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. There you have it. Sting has spoken and then said ta-ta for now, as he does. A four-way match for the TNA title. Bobby Roode, Jeff Hardy, James Storm, and Bully Ray. Something tells me there might be... It's kind of a tornado tag type format, considering you've got two faces and two heels in there. I'll get back to the rest of the Against All Odds lineup in just a sec is good enough. We'll go right there now to it. The other matches lined up for it, you've got AJ Styles against Kazarian. Also, Christopher Daniels will be in there. Matt Morgan and Crimson. They'll be going against Samoa Joe and Magnus for the TNA Tag Team Championships. Also, Austin Aries defending against Alex Shelley. Of course, from, one half of the Motor City Machine Guns. Of course, getting split up. Well, not really split up. It's just injury has kind of kept them apart, as Chris Sabin still recovering from the torn, I believe it was ACL and MCL that's had him out for quite a bit and is going to in the foreseeable future. Gail Kim against Tara for the TNA Knockouts title, and of course Jesse Sorensen against Zema Ion to become the number one contender to the X Division Championship. All those matches set up. I'll have predictions certain to go wrong for the finalized lineup next week here on Pro Wrestling Weekly. And a programming note, next week, a little bit of an abbreviated show due to high school sports. I'll be with you from 12:05 until 12:45. So 15 minutes earlier than usual I'll be cutting off. So for those of you who like to call closer to the end of the hour, make note, chime in, get your points in a little bit earlier. Otherwise, you will definitely miss out. And speaking of chiming in and getting your points in, that's where the Facebook feedback is. Of course, you can do so at WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly. Go ahead and bring this up here. We'll take a look at some of the differing opinions. Mike chiming in. He says, first off, good Rumble, but I want to talk about Taker. Glad to see the Undertaker's finally back. One thing is, do we really want to see Triple H Undertaker 2 at WrestleMania 28? I mean, in the past 4 WrestleManias, he only took on the same 2 guys. He says, I believe that Ted DiBiase Jr. versus Taker should take place at WrestleMania. I mean, think about it. If this is the Undertaker's final WrestleMania, making him 20-0, what better way than to end with DiBiase Jr., since DiBiase Sr. brought him into the WWE. I think part of the problem with that, Mike, is Ted DiBiase Jr. hasn't really had, I don't know, he hasn't had a chance to shine in any kind of a main event capacity. I mean, really, all we've seen of him lately is the DiBiase posse parties, which, I mean, it's a nice way to kind of get himself over. He's trying to do something similar to what Zack Ryder did with the Long Island Ice Z thing, but I know it's the whole father-son thing. It makes sense, and it'd be a nice full circle thing if DiBiase was in that main event picture at this point. But how many fans are going to give Ted DiBiase Jr. a credible chance of beating The Undertaker? And really, that's what you're looking for. I mean, you're looking for a matchup that will allow viewers to believe, this guy might actually beat The Undertaker. I mean, you've seen that the last couple of years with Triple H, with Shawn Michaels 2 years before that. I mean, you're looking for a credible threat to the streak. Not that that necessarily will change, but you're at least looking for it out there. Brian responding, I like the DiBiase connection, but I don't think, no. he says, I don't know that Junior is over to make as big to make it memorable. If he had the path of Randy Orton and was holding the belt for the 5th or 6th time, then that could be the match. Taker beats him for the title, walks to the back, turns to the fans, lays the belts out across the ground of the entranceway, points to the belt and the fans as if saying, this is yours, turns around, fists in the air, lights go out. When the lights come back on, only the belt's there for the fans and a tournament for the title. Taker retires as champion and the actual character disappears in the dark. And then Mark then continues with a backstage presence with the American Badass gimmick. If he wants, that would have been great. That's an interesting thought. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like DiBiase's quite in that fold necessarily. And, John, he's always got something funny cooking up here. He's kind of... Well, his opinion has to do with the whole... He says, interesting that a wig is getting more talk than Raw itself. Shows you how awful the writing has been lately. Still loved the role reversal of Undertaker Triple H. It was an awesome end to Raw, one of the best in a long time. I wonder if Al Pacino would have anything to say about the Undertaker's wig. And there have been a whole slew of comments basically about the potential hairpiece of the Undertaker. I can't believe that this is a topic, but you never know what's going to happen in pro wrestling, and... this is definitely evidence of that. You never know what's going to get over, what isn't. No further truth of that than, of course, the Brodus Clay Funkasaurus, which might already be overstaying its welcome because there hasn't been any development about it. Ross responding, it's just how noticeable the wig was. Still, a hairpiece is much more interesting than anything The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, John Cena, or John Laryngitis have to say or do. I don't know necessarily about that, but wow. And then, of course, things just kind of went downhill. John following up, I listened to that hairpiece do commentary before I listened to Michael Cole. And then, of course, I had to chime in looking back at some of the cringeworthy commentators of the past. I said, does that mean you'd want Vince McMahon in his canary blue suit back on commentary? And Ross adding in yes, along with Jesse Ventura and his feather boa. So you never know where the commentary is going to go on the Facebook fan page. Feel free to join in there, of course, at WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly. Of course, there's a daily Today in Wrestling History post. I still have to get the one from today up there, but you'll hear one of the ones a little bit later. Of course, yesterday threw it out there the main event from 1989, which of course led to the explosion of the Mega Powers, Macho Man Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan, that ultimately led to their title match against each other at WrestleMania 5, about a month and a half after that event aired on NBC. So lots of interesting history, to say the least. You never know where things are going to go. Where we're going to go to, though, is the phones. We've been talking a lot of national stuff. We're going to get a look into the local scene, courtesy of our local man, Ed, from Northeast Philly. Ed, what's going on this week?
Good afternoon. And we have something tonight in ROH has a show in Baltimore with Maria and Haas and Benjamin.
Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. That might almost be worth the trip down to Baltimore. That's one of those where you have to get in the car right now. I know that's about a 3 and a half hour drive down there down to Baltimore.
And the best of the best is coming to Philadelphia, CCW.
CZW,
Combat Zone.
Ah, yes. Longtime listeners of the show are rather familiar with that. Of course, my preceding hosts here had some involvement with that.
And that might be a doubleheader. We're working on a show for that in April.
Huh. Interesting stuff there.
We didn't get the actual date yet.
I'm sorry, what was that?
We didn't get the actual date yet.
Okay. Well, I'm sure when that comes out, you'll definitely have that for us.
Yes. And happy birthday to Becky Bayless.
Becky Bayless. I know that name sounds familiar. Huh?
Cookie.
Oh, of course, Cookie. Yes, from the Jersey Shore gimmick gone wrong. It took me a second. I'm like, why do I know that name? So many names and dates and things running in my head. It's amazing. But yes, birthday wishes to Cookie. Like of course, from the TNA equivalent, the Jersey Shore gimmick, and Robbie E. Of course, doing great things down there in TNA.
Happy belated birthday to A. Social, who was last week. I forgot about that.
Ah, excellent.
Personal friend.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I see him on the independent circuit a couple times.
Great stuff, Ed. I appreciate it as always. Thanks so much for the call. We're going to get on moving here to another interesting end of the phones, to say the least. Let's get to the one, the only, the infamous Rat Boy. Welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
What's up, Ryan? You know what about this Undertaker thing with the Triple H? It's going to happen. You know why? Because the referee is going to be Shawn Michaels for WrestleMania. What about that?
Shawn Michaels is the guest referee. Undertaker, for Triple H
28.
To Electric Boogaloo.
But guess what's going to happen, though? Is there
going to be a sweet chin music involved?
What is that? Kevin Nash is going to come in and interfere.
Are you doing writing for TNA? Because you seem to be overbooking this a lot.
No, I'm not. No, I'm a bookie for Beast Wrestling, coming on February 25th down in Deptford. I'm doing bookings for that.
You coming up with crazy stuff like this?
Yeah, I am the GM for Beast Wrestling. Because that'll be coming up February 25th in Deptford
Somewheres. That's great pinpoint precision there on your part, Rat Boy.
Yeah, I know, but it was a good Rumble. I liked it. There was a lot of funny things happening in there, guys. When you talk about the football people, how about the Oakland Raiders?
What about the Oakland Raiders?
They were in the Royal Rumble.
I'm trying to think back. I don't remember any.
William Perry.
Oh, William the Refrigerator Perry, but he was a Chicago Bear. Oh,
the Chicago Bears were in it. All of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm trying to think, what Raiders? No, you had a few. Obviously, yes, William the Refrigerator Perry from that Battle Royal at WrestleMania 2. That was the other thing. It wasn't a Royal Rumble. It was a Battle Royal. But, the Fridge certainly in there. Another celebrity inductee in the Hall of Fame. But, yeah, of course, you also had Bill Fralick in those things. I think Harvey Martin was in one of those as well. Yeah, a lot of the football players they got out for the for those early battle royals.
And McMahon put another fast one. Iron Mike Tyson in a Hall of Fame. He's not even a wrestler.
No, but that's why they have the celebrity wing.
Oh, okay. Well, let me go because I'm busy here. Trying to talk to somebody on Facebook at the same time.
Oh! Don't let me interrupt, Rat Boy. My goodness.
Yeah, because I'm trying to book this one big show in Deptford, New Jersey, and we're not finished doing it yet.
It's okay. The listeners have known you long enough that you don't need the big time. It's okay.
Yeah, I know. Because I'm getting back in the ring. I can't wait. Let's put it that way.
Some people never learn. Thanks for the call, Rat Boy. Always appreciate it. Oh man, after messing up his collarbone, you'd think I guess you gotta give some credit to his resilience, but as Bobby Heenan would say, questioning whether he has more guts than brains or something like that. Old Bobby Heenanism, one of my favorites there. All right, let's go ahead and take care of a little bit of business. Come back with some more Facebook feedback, as well as some news and notes. We've got Today in Wrestling History on the other side, and some more of your favorite wrestling football crossovers. We talked a little bit about WrestleMania 11, William the Refrigerator Perry, and got some. I'll throw some other football players who wrestled out there. We, of course, mentioned Bill Fralick, Harvey Martin, Reggie White had a match in WCW back in the late 90s. Of course, Lawrence Taylor. Kevin Green, he was also part of that WCW run. And, of course, Steve Mongo McMichael. He was part of the Four Horsemen for a little bit as well and brought Deborah into the fold. And without all of that, Jerry Lawler wouldn't be going nuts about puppies. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. All right, all that and more here on Pro Wrestling Weekly. Let me give you the numbers. 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149. Yeah, that's right. Those are the numbers. You can also chime in on the Facebook feedback, WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly. Go ahead and like us there. And if you missed the show or missed any of the shows over the last few weeks, few months, we've got them archived on YouTube. Again, go to YouTube and just type in WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly. We've got them divided up into segments, so that way it doesn't take up too much of the bandwidth or anything of that nature. You can listen in nice, 15 to 20-minute increments, depending on the length of the segment, and it's a good time. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB, as well as online at WBCB1490.com.